the film review and that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here we go. This week I've chosen My Left Foot.
Right.
Okay? Now, My Left Foot is a film about a bloke called Daniel Day-Lewis, who's all mental, except for, his left foot, right? And he has arguments. I can't remember, he has arguments with his dad, so I wasn't watching it properly. But even though he's mental apart from the foot, he does stuff with the foot that could do all over, and he uses that to his best. I think he might write a book or something off paint. And the moral of this story is, even if you've only got a foot that works, you can still win prizes because it won the Oscar.
Okay. Am I right in saying that you're bringing a book out of these, collected, maybe for the Christmas market?
I think I might.
Yeah. I see there's obvious
great
market
films
there.
reviewed, sort of, with it's a different outlook on it,
a different approach.
I don't just sort of like say.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's an approach that doesn't really use grammar, which you don't see that often in film reviews. But no, once again, what would you give it out of 10?
I didn't really concentrate. I can't remember a lot about it, but it won an Oscar. So I think it won an Oscar or something. So 9.
Okay, jolly good. Well, that was My Left Foot, which is probably available on sell-through video, maybe in a bargain bin. $5.99, probably on TV this Christmas. That's to be confirmed.
The XFM Vault.
XFM.
Me and Karl went out for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
We started off,
good.
and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you've done?
Do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. What I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him. I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What
Yes.
now? Straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion
Yeah.
is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
And Robin-
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well,
Because it's not true.
Imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on Spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And it was in his body, and the doctor said, "We've got to get this out of your body." So what they did was they said, "Right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head." So they wrapped
Where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't!
They did. Because that's that
right.
thing.
So he's gone in by the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it. And it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
As ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Karl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes to smell of bacon.
Including worms.
Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love
Remember
bacon.
last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No.
Please.
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little fella.
You're changing it now. You weren't having any of it last week.
Right, hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese There wasn't a There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
worm.
A little, like, maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the
He runs
body,
him off.
they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story. And
Right.
it was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why when
And so what, the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way,
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Karl, why would I sit on ham then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
Do you know
It's
what I
for
mean?
telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. Bless him. So, Karl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped round the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle,
Yeah. Always carry some.
bit of Danish.
Good advice.
Lovely. So, would you like to start on your to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
We'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but like they do the weekly shopping on like a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in. You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig and shit.
Right.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank
It's
God he
like-
didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically,
Oh.
that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right. So anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
So and bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. It's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he do? Sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter.
So I saw. Do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do. Yeah. So what they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like
Yeah,
a foot
yeah,
long,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I thought I'll have one of them. So I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it straight
down
away,
it.
yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right? So I
What,
was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going. And she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
Or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it! Drop it! And
So-
she hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone.
His share! I love it!
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch like Winner Takes All or whatever in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to like I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just
And
thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him. And my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was all right.
What, the
And
whole
like,
popsicle came flying back out?
you see, that's what I don't understand. Because There was nothing there. I
No,
think
just
it's
a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been all right.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
So, but
No. But the weird thing is, like for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
a special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turned over a leaf.
Yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, did a quick history exam. Yeah. Right, next one.
weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it.
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're spreading information
well,
to people, vital information.
giving a service, and no one else is around. You know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his
I
bike.
can't. Oh,
So-
getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round, and
Why'd you get a 4:30?
because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch Pink Panther?
And then
He went, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah, so is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
Conscientious.
so anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it. I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. They had like a big anorak on with the fur on. I had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out and tried to open the door, and it was locked. I thought, oh, God. So she'd locked it so I couldn't go out. So I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh, God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch. And my bag got caught on like the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah.
But the little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding on to the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there,
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing, a big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle. There was nothing you could do. Do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you got upstairs, who knows what might have happened?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around.
Yeah.
So
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad! Hurry
up.
Pink Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
so that was close to death because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm going to die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Karl, always check your balls. I know you guys are laughing about the height thing, and for those that have only just tuned in, I am 6'7" tall, which is tall, and that's big. And I pride myself on it in a way. I've worked hard. I've not smoked. I ate well,
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment, but obviously I didn't have much involvement in it. I just am, and it's a curse because mainly the problem is that you can't get stuff, you can't get clothes, you can't get shoes.
Yeah,
Size
he's size 14 feet.
Yeah, but it is genuine, and I don't know. I mean, it costs a lot to buy a pair of size 14 shoes, and I don't. I mean, if you were genuinely poor, I don't know how you'd afford to be tall because the clothing costs more, everything costs more.
I've seen this in comics that you'd actually go to school in a barrel.
Wearing a barrel
with just braces, it'd just be a barrel like that, and you'd have sort of flip-flops, and you'd take a mule with you. They all had a mule, didn't they?
But people always think that you'll be in a pub or something, and people just think they can talk to you about it. They just think, hey, all right, you lanky, it's just like, because it's like they
But
think,
that really annoys you, doesn't it?
But it annoys me because it's like they think I should be proud of it. Like,
well,
it's
exactly, but they don't think that this is not a disadvantage. This is not a disability, is it? You're taller than most people. It might get
a disability.
No. If you were 8'3", it'd be slightly debilitating. You would, but
disabilitating.
What?
Debilitating? Yeah. No, you're a medical man, aren't you? But no, the point is, it's a debilitating because when you go on public transport, like if you're on a coach, the only place I can sit on a coach is that seat
on the driver's lap,
either on the driver's lap or that seat at the very end.
Yeah.
Which sits into the aisle.
Yeah.
That's the only place I can sit.
You stand
there's
up,
some sort of kids at the back waving at drivers.
You could drive it from the back.
Here he comes. Watch it.
Were you a tall baby? Or
Mrs. Merchant, you've given birth to a basketball player. Look at his dribble already. Were you a tall baby? Babies aren't tall, are they?
At what point did you suddenly, like, Jesus, nothing fits me?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, Karl.
Let's do a little graph. How tall were you at 5?
Oh, I don't know. 3 foot?
3 foot. How tall were you at 12?
6 foot.
6. Were you really?
I don't know, do I? How do I remember? I don't remember this.
Well, when did teachers start calling you freak boy and lanky?
They didn't. It wasn't
Didn't they?
So much. It was no.
You went to a funny school. I went bowling with him once. I'd never been bowling before, and he'd been once before. And he went, "Let's go to this bowl." We went to a bowling alley, right? And you have to wear these special shoes. Now they're sort of like pointed things anyway, and they're multicoloured, sort of red and green. They look pretty weird. And the woman said to me, "Oh, what size?" I said, "Oh, 8." She went, "Yeah." So, "What size are you?" He went, 14. She went, 14. He went, "You probably haven't got them." She goes, "Yeah, I think we have got one pair." And she put them on the table, and it was like Krusty the Clown. And I just started laughing. They looked so long, and he had to run round this bowling alley in these freaky clown shoes.
But they don't look freaky clown like when I'm wearing them, because the rest of me's in proportion to it.
It looks like a little wall bracket.
One of the worst things that happened to me was when I was when I was about 16 or something. We went to Is the fire
there's a fire alarm going off.
There's a fire alarm going off.
And the fire light's going off. Yeah. Should we not just maybe
we
play a record and go and check that out?
Wrap it up if you want.
Oh, no, not wrap it up. Play a record. I'm going to go.
No, it's gone off, Rick. It's gone off.
Oh, what? It might have burnt down.
Yeah, I think we'd know about it. The flames licking around our ankles would be a clue.
God.
I'm going to go and investigate. You shouldn't ignore a fire alarm, should you?
Blimey. We're entertaining the nation.
Oh, look at him. He's scared of fire. I remember once, right? I used to love nature when I was about 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And I remember going out with my sister and my brother and their girlfriend and boyfriend, like become their husband and wife. And
thanks for that.
Yeah, just keeping continuity there. Yeah. And I used to get shells and things on the beach, and I used to get anything. I love nature. And once I found I love reptiles as well, and I found this perfect snake skin, like a grass snake or an adder, and it was I absolutely I couldn't believe my luck. And I was going, look, and they were going, okay, put it down, because I realised they were a little bit scared of it. They were going, put it down, it's dirty. And of course I'd torture them a little bit, and then I thought it was hilarious, and they made me leave it there, and I told Mum and everything. And then, much later, when I had some friends when I was about 14 or 15, I was telling this story to embarrass my sister, and I was going, yeah, and she was scared of it. And she went, well, it was a used Johnny. She'd waited that long to embarrass me in front of my friends.
God.
I'd been running round with a used Durex, thinking that this was great because they were scared of snakes, and they were going, put it down, it's dirty. No, be careful of the poison.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It is horrible, isn't it? Have I gone too far again?
How could you not realise it was made of rubber, for goodness sake? Well, you obviously didn't know anything about nature. I used to love nature, me.
Yeah,
You know the difference between some skin and then rubber Johnny.
Now be careful of the Johnny snake.
Yeah.
Their little poppy head and their poison that... Oh, dear.
I always remember there was this kid who lived near me once, and this bird got run over, and he rushed it, he said, I can save it, and he kissed it. Because he thought he could give it the he thought he could give it the kiss of life.
I thought you meant it was a girl.
No.
It got run over.
And he kissed it. No, he thought he could give it the kiss of life, but he didn't know what the kiss of life was. He just thought you could kiss something and that would bring it back to life.
I think it was an excuse. I think he was thinking, I can't wait for a bird to get run over, then I can pretend to be giving it a kiss of life, but really I'm giving it a nice little snog on the beak.
I remember he kissed it like that and threw it up like it would fly away, and it just went whoomp onto the floor.
Oh, was it dead or?
Yeah, it was blood everywhere. It was horrible.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And what's he doing now?
He presents Animal Hospital. No, I don't know what he's doing. But,
He's the worst vet in the world. Got struck off. Sleeping with one of his patients. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, bless him. Oh no. I killed a fish once.
Go on.
Well, I made a little bow and arrow. I was about 8 or 9, and I made a bow and arrow. And you know, you never think. I had a pond, and there was a huge fish in it, about 8 inches long, a huge big sort of like golden orf or something, or a carp or something. And I was sort of playing, and I aimed, and I shot it, and it went straight through it and floated to the top. And I thought, oh my God!
You pierced a fish with an arrow. That's an amazing shot.
Well, it was luck. It was pure luck. I
You're
never thought I'd
Native
do it.
American.
Yeah. You know those little things outside in the front garden by the front gate? The little sort of 4 inches by 4 inches bit of metal. You lift it up, and it's sort of like where the drains are. If the plumbers need to get there, or the council or anything like that.
Right.
I dropped it down there, and I thought, oh my God, what if that's discovered? What if I have to drain? So I ran loads and loads of journeys in and out of my house, right to the toilet and back, just taking out handfuls of Vim and pouring bleach down, thinking that I can get rid of this fish before the council dig it up in 10 years' time and go, send him to jail.
Yes.
Fish aside.
But what do you think they would have done? They'd have taken the dead fish, they've gone to each of the doors going, is this your fish?
Yeah, but you don't think...
Do you recognise either the arrow or the fish?
Yes, it's arrow straight through it. But, you don't think when you're 8 that it'd be okay. If I can ride this out till I'm 20, the statute of limitations on goldfish murder, it is about, I can't work it out, 12 years.
Wow.
So that was...
a killer. Carl, anything embarrassing ever happened to you ever?
With what? With animals and stuff?
Could be animals.
I like animals, to be honest.
So do I. It was a mistake.
No, you don't. I thought you were feeling bad about the fish.
Yeah.
But really, you were more worried about you being locked up.
Well, I felt bad. There was both the law and the moral side of fish death. I mean, we kill fish all the time, just not usually with a bow and arrow in a back garden in Whitley. Often the supermarket can lend a hand with that.
I used to sell mackerel.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a pet magpie.
Did you?
Called Maggie.
Oh, pet magpie. You mean you captured it and didn't let it go away?
Yeah.
Can't have a pet magpie.
But then it got really vicious. I mean...
Well, it let me go. What do you keep it in, a rabbit hutch?
No, it flew around, but it used to just, like, come to me all the time, but then it started pecking me head and stuff.
That's not a pet magpie. That's a bird in the garden.
No, but I could actually... I could hold it and stuff. It wasn't scared of me, and it knew it was me. It used to come down from, like, the top...
It hated you. That's why it wanted to peck you. Is that...
And the other thing, I always remember being younger and like walking through the woods to school with my mum, and like, I was chasing a butterfly, and she said, "Oh, don't do that, Carl." And I said, "Why?" She said, "'Cause they only live a day." I said, "Oh, all right, I'll get a dead one in the morning."
That's genius.
That's great. That's quick thinking, isn't it? Oh,
that's sweet. We're talking about embarrassing stories and stuff, and I don't know if I've told this on this radio before. Have I told you, Karl? I'm not sure. But this was when I was working at the BBC. This is not even long ago, and I'd moved to London, and I was fairly new in London. And I was working at the BBC, and I had this BBC hire car, and I've never told it. If there's anyone listening who works for the BBC, I don't know if I can still get in trouble for it. But this BBC hire car, and it was like I'd been ferrying kind of actors and people and production people around all day in this car. And I was driving back, it was quite late, it was about sort of 7 or 8, and I was driving back, and I pulled in to get some petrol to fill up the car every day. And I went into this garage to fill up some petrol, and I was there, and two blokes came in a white van. Right, they sort of pulled into the forecourt, and I was filling up the car, and they went, "Hey, do you want to buy a couple of speakers?" And I said, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because, tell you the reason, it was like I was so flattered that they thought I'd be the kind of bloke who would, A, need some kind of classy speakers, and B, would like to buy them on the sly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought, they like the
They've
fact
seen me, they've seen I look a bit of a hustler.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a street sort of guy, you can see by the way I use my walk.
Exactly. So I couldn't believe my luck. So they drove behind the garage, the little sort of garage bit at the back, and I went round there, sort of casually went round there, sort of locked the car, went round there. They went, open the back, you had two speakers in there. I said, are you sure these aren't knocked off, mate? He went, no. We work for Dixon's. This is the story he spun me. We work for Dixon's, right? And we're delivery men, and if we make a delivery and the person's not there to sign for the goods, then we have to bring them back to the warehouse. But if we can sell them on the way back, then that's really good for Dixon's.
Dixon's must love that.
And instead of thinking, are you sure some kind of troubleshooter didn't... I mean, did someone go into Dixon's and go, you're not getting in the garage forecourt market?
Jones.
Exactly.
Get a couple of lads in a white van.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I sort of bought this story, and I was a little bit dubious, and I went, right, let me hear them then. And he wired them up to the car stereo, and boom, 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 they was playing. So it was some groovy hip-hop. I was thinking, great, these guys know what I'm into. Yeah. And he's giving me the talk and stuff. And, I said, I'm a bit worried these are knocked off. He went, no. Listen, we got a bloke at Dixon's who can confirm this is fine, right? Phone him up, use my mobile, right? And quote this reference number, right? So I phone out, they go, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and I goes, I go, hi, some guys here in the garage forecourt trying to sell me some speakers. Just wanted to check. He went, it's fine. I went, should I just read the reference number or whatever? He went, if you want. And X14, and I went, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what that was, don't you? That was actually Mr. Dixon himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, well, they sound great. They're giving me for a knockdown price. I'd say they were like 400 quid, they were like 200 quid or something. It was a good bargain. I was in the market for some speakers as well. Yeah. So, while they were loading
it's
them
all kosher, I phoned Dixon.
Exactly, I phoned Dixon's, that's fine.
Yeah.
So while they're loading them in the back of the BBC hire car, right, I'm in there paying for the petrol, right, and the guy serving goes, oh, you're right. He goes, what were you doing around the back with those blokes? Right? Because obviously there's security cameras filming this whole transaction, right? And he goes, what are you doing around the back? And I went, brilliantly, there's some old mates. Some of my mates were just having a chat and that. He went, oh, right, okay, like giving me obviously the evil eye. So I went back to the van. So I'm in the car now, and I'm driving with one of the blokes who's in the van with me, because I didn't have the money on me, so I had to go to the cash point to get the cash, right? So I'm driving with him, and the other guy's like following me in the van, and he was like a northerner like you, and he was giving it all the, all right, yeah, I tell my girlfriend's a DJ, she's got some of these speakers, they're fantastic, da-da-da, and he's giving me this, and then my mind starts working. Now that I've got a bit of time to think, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this all sounds a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
It dawned on me, Rick.
You know, fool, are you? You're streetwise.
Exactly.
You're streetwise, Steve.
Not only that, I was thinking, how am I going to get them home? I've got to drop the car off at the BBC. How am I going to get these huge speakers back to where I live?
And how can I pay for them? Because I've just spent £100 on Find the Lady. With a couple of blokes in the square. It seemed like a fair game. Some of his friends were winning.
But so I explained to him, I said, I can't get them back to, like, Brixton, where I was living at the time. He went, don't worry, give us an extra 20 quid, we'll take them home for you.
Oh, that's good. Delivery. They do a whole service, you see. And there's also a backup guarantee. Did they have the guarantee, the 3-month guarantee?
They didn't.
No.
But so I said, I'm not sure about that. He went, well, why don't you put them in a cab, send them back, and your housemates can collect it. I was like, oh, no, there'd be no one in. And I was beginning to sort of get a bit conscious of, like, maybe this was a bit of a scam, after all. So I pulled into, like, a little side road. I said, I'm not sure I'm into this now, actually. He went, what are you talking about? It's 200 quid for a pair of speakers. It's a bargain. You never get a bargain like this, mate. I'm going, not too sure, actually. I don't think I want them. He went, 150 quid, 150 quid, mate, 150 quid. I went, no. He said, 100 quid now to you. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like the kind of work that Dixon's would be doing.
Dixon's don't do that when I go in.
This is it.
Dixon's never negotiate in that way.
When I go there, look around and I leave, they go, where are you going? Exactly. I go, we'll have anything then. Have anything for a
So
quid.
I stopped the car and the white van pulled up behind me with his mates in.
Sure.
And I said, can you get them out? I'm not interested. And he went, oh, 100 quid, mate. Oh, and he was just going, you tosser, you obviously want some speakers, and he was having a go at me. So I was carrying the speakers out and putting them back in the white van, and he was just shouting at me, he was going, 70 quid, mate. I said, 70 quid from 200? This is ludicrous.
You realise that wasn't Dixon's policy then.
Exactly.
They don't usually shout, you tosser, as you leave the shop and walk down Camden High Street. They're not usually shouting, you tosser.
You should have took the offer of, like, the monthly payments they've got on at the moment.
So I eventually put them in there, and I sort of knocked the deal on the head, and I got back in my car, and they were in theirs, and I just looked in the rearview mirror, and they were punching the dashboard, like, with aggression and venom, like we let that deal slip through our fingers. And I've never been so terrified in my life. I just sat there, and I was just thinking, oh my God, all I was thinking now is, what if I go back to the BBC, and they go, we've had a call from the police, the man at the garage, he saw you doing a dodgy deal.
I love it. Yeah. Well, what you do is you put the hire car in a drain in your front garden, and then go in and out of the toilet, just pouring bleach down, or Ajax, and they never know.
XFM.